Hey Farm Fam, it's Todd from Headwaters Homestead. Welcome back to the channel. It's a nice quiet night here on the homestead. I am actually in the process right now of throwing together a couple of garden beds, and I thought I would show you the technique I use for building the raised beds we have here at Headwaters Homestead. So this will be a quick video, just a little tutorial on how we put these together. We've had them this will be going on our third growing season. They've worked great. They give us complete control of the soil that we're growing in. They're real easy to amend and real easy to work. So I thought I would just throw this together real quick and show you what we do. The little garden gnome. Are you helping? I'm still trying to figure out this whole farming thing. It's hard enough just babying. All right, so for this build, you're going to need some 2 foot by 8 foot sheets of corrugated metal. You're going to need a total of 6 2 by 6 by 8s, 10 2 by 4 by 8s, and 3 4 by 4 posts. You're also going to want to have some, at least a good box of 3-inch decking screws and another box of 1 or 1.5 inch self-tapping sheet metal screws. That's really all you need to throw this together. I like to have a drill and a impact driver to do the work here, and obviously our trusty miter saw to make our cuts, but it's pretty simple. Here's a couple of sides I put together earlier this afternoon. We're working with 8 foot sheets of corrugated. It's a galvanized metal, so it's going to resist the elements pretty well. It also keeps the soil separated from the treated lumber, which I do use on these. One of the things I like about it is that they come in 8 foot sections. So I can buy all of my dimension lumber in 8 foot sections as well, make minimal number of cuts to get down to the pieces that we need, and then throw these together pretty quickly. So what we're working with here, I'll show you real quick. You see that 8 foot sheet of galvanized? That is a 2 by 6 by 8 foot. I haven't had to cut that at all. That's going to be my top rail. For my bottom rail, I have a 2 by 4, and that's also 8 foot long. For my corner posts, we are using 4 by 4. I have cut those down to just 32 inches each. And then the inlay that you see right here underneath the corrugated, and the corrugated is attached to there, that just gives it some stability. That is a 2 by 4 that is cut to 19.5 inches. So just a couple quick cuts. But most of the bed, I don't have to cut any of the lumber because it comes from the lumber yard already in the dimensions I need, and those dimensions match up nicely with the corrugated metal. Now I used to measure these out, but I found it's much easier when I only need that 1.5 inches on the end there, so my ends will attach. It's much easier for me to just lay a piece of 2 by 4 there. That gets me that perfect 1.5 inches, and then I can sink my screw right in there to hold that in place. I'll do that for all 4 corners, and then I'll be able, by only putting 1 screw in at a time, I'll be able to adjust it so I get my 90-degree corners. These don't need to be fancy, they don't need to be pretty. They just need to serve the purpose, which is to be a container for the dirt that we're growing in. In case you're wondering, these are 3-inch decking screws. I like using the ones with the star drive head. They're less likely to strip out. Just makes for a lot less headaches when you're doing the build. All right, and again, this bottom timber is a 2x4, 2x6s on the top. That gives you a little bit more rigidity and stability. You don't need quite as much of that on the bottom as you do up at the top. Again, you can see there's no real strict measurements here. It's all basically based on close enough, because in this case, as Joel Salatin's fond of saying, good enough is perfect. All right, those are all tacked down. Now I'm gonna go get my 19.5-inch slats that I've pre-cut. We're gonna lay those in here. These aren't perfect. There's somewhere between 1/8 of an inch and 1/4 of an inch gap on either end here. That's just fine though, because when these sit on the ground for a while, that space will get compressed. Top rail and the bottom rail will press against these side pieces, and you won't even be able to tell. All right, standard 2x4 from the lumberyard. It's gonna be 1.5 inches in width. I've got that 1.5 inches all right along this 4x4 here. That way when I put my end caps on, I can tack them in just like this and screw them into place, and they'll hold the two sides together. Let's go get our corrugated and throw that on. These are just over 24 inches wide. using self-drilling sheet metal screws. I like to do 3 across the bottom, but up on the top where hands are reaching in and over, I'll do 5 across. That way it's tacked down all the way along the top rail there. That way you don't accidentally cut your thumb. It is, metal can be quite sharp. And just like that, there's the side of our garden bed. I'm making 4 of these today. I'll tack my end caps on once I get these down in the field. Screw them all together with 3-inch decking screws, and then begin the work of actually filling them up with a good topsoil and compost mixture. But we've got building them down to a science. It goes pretty quick. Hopefully this is something you can use at your homestead as well. If you like it, give us a like. Leave us a comment with what you're doing at home or improvements you think we can make. All right, farm fam, I've got 1 more of these to throw together. I'm gonna get that done before that sun there goes down. You can see the pending work pile up there behind me. And we've got our chickens and our east pasture back behind me. Hope you enjoyed watching tonight. Have a great night. Take care, farm fam.